The woman's mother had just passed away. Right after that, she found out she was pregnant with her ex-boyfriend's baby. To protect the family's reputation, the father forced the woman to marry a rural farmer. As soon as the woman arrived in town, the priest came out to greet her. About to marry a man she had never met, the woman was extremely nervous. After a long drive, the priest brought the woman to meet the farmer. The man wasn't the big, rough-looking type the woman had imagined. He even seemed a bit shy, too nervous to look the woman in the eye. After learning the woman's name, the man poured a glass of lemonade for her. Then he stood there silently, not saying a word to the woman. At that moment, the woman asked the man if he had any questions. The man said no, then asked the woman if she had any regrets. The woman said she didn't, but the only thing the woman cared about was whether the man could accept the baby in her belly. The man firmly said he could, and just like that, the two went to the church to get married. The man didn't even manage to get a wedding ring ready. The woman immediately said she didn't need one. On the drive home, the woman looked at the barren land around them. It was something the woman, who had grown up in a big city, found hard to get used to. The man politely opened the door and welcomed the woman home. Then he led the woman around to get familiar with the house. To help the woman settle in, the man had even installed a hot water valve. But those small gestures didn't impress the woman, who had come from a luxurious home. While eating, the woman said she didn't know how to cook, but she could buy a cookbook and try to learn. When the woman learned there was no library or phone booth here, she was extremely disappointed. To ease the awkwardness, the man asked about the woman's education. The woman said she had studied archaeology in college, but none of the archaeology experts the woman mentioned were familiar to the man. When the conversation stalled, the man got up to clear the dishes. Then the man brought out a chocolate cake that the neighbors had given him, and offered it to the woman, but the woman turned it down. At that point, the woman asked why the man was willing to marry someone who was pregnant. The man simply replied that it was God's will. That night, the two didn't sleep in the same room. Both were lost in their own thoughts. The woman stared at the photo of her ex-boyfriend tucked inside her necklace, still clinging to hope deep down. The next morning, the woman woke up late. She went to check the man's room, only to find he was already gone. An old pocket watch in the drawer caught the woman's attention. Just then, the man came back. The woman didn't want him to think she had invaded his private space, so she quickly stepped out of the room. The man had brought back some groceries and supplies. The woman said she wanted to go to the phone booth in town to call her family. The man offered to take the woman with him, and stop by the library to get some books. On the way, the woman asked the man about the farm, and said she could help with the work, but the man didn't want the woman to do such hard labor, and turned her down. He told the woman that managing the household would be enough. When they got to town, the man checked out not only a cookbook from the library, but also books about childbirth and archaeology. Meanwhile, the woman told her sister how tough things were here. She also asked if there was any news about her ex-boyfriend, but there was nothing. The woman's sister told her to remember, this farm was not her true home. Will she stay by this unfamiliar man's side, or go back to search for her old love?